Right, we're going to have KK on Kundalini, so it's all the Ks.
My middle name's Kundalini as well.
Oh, yes indeed, there we go.
Which makes it quite a tricky triple K, but I'm determined to turn the energy around on that one. Because K is the seed sound of the serpent, so for me, my work with snakes, K is very important. K in the hieroglyphics is the serpent, so it's associated very much with the snake, so hence why I decided that I was going to take that vibration, Kwali Kumara, and make it my own.
And indeed you have. And Kundalini is what we'd like to hear a little bit more about you, because you have some very, shall we say, interesting views on how that affects people and you.
Well, personally, I've been around the world and I've looked at every single yoga philosophy.
Don't go there.
I couldn't help it. Irresistible. But no, I've explored all the other forms of yoga, and actually the one that I found last was Kundalini Yoga, and I think the universe made it that way so that I would get involved in all of the other ones so I could see. So I was really searching for the one that I felt worked the most. And I was really searching for the one that did the most clearing and the one that I could feel instantaneously, because having left all the medicine plants and all of the fanciful experiences with highs involved, I was looking for a spiritual practice that was going to give me an actual high. And of course Kundalini Yoga, the one I found last, gave me the high immediately in the first class, and I knew I was sold in that moment. I could feel a really big powerful shift, and I thought, this is the thing that's going to work for me. And of course, as soon as you take it up, weird things start to happen. You start to want to give up all the naughty things, so you suddenly just stop drinking and you stop smoking and you stop doing all the things that are bad for you. And it's not that you consciously decide, I'm going to give everything up. It just falls away very effortlessly, which of course is what we all love, because when you give something up, it creates that relationship that you end up not giving it up because you've made it a big thing. So with Kundalini Yoga, everything happens really naturally, and all you do is you do the practice and things start to change and transform, and you actually observe. I mean, I see it in my students, literally. I see their life evolving before my very eyes, because it's so powerful. It works much, much more accelerated than any other practice in my experience. 1 year of Kundalini Yoga is like 11 years of Hatha, so say the gurus. So if you ever need a shortcut, which most of us humans love, especially to enlightenment, that is your shortcut if ever there was one, you know?
Well, with people's attention spans going into like minutes and seconds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kundalini would appear to be the buzzword of the moment.
Absolutely, and you can get a buzz off a very, very short practice of it, and that's the most beautiful thing about it. And Yogi Bhajan, who was the master of Kundalini Yoga in 1969, he brought it to the Western world, and he actually broke all the rules to bring it to the Western world, because until then it was reserved for the holy men and the hierarchy and the kings and everyone that wanted to be ahead of the general layman, so it wasn't allowed to be taught to the regular being. So he decided that in 1969 he had this great vision that he was like, hang on a minute, the age of Aquarius is coming and everyone's going to start losing the plot with all this information overload, with all this new download information that's coming. If people don't have a technology to navigate their way through the storm, they're going to lose their mind. And he foresaw that there was going to be all this mental health issues, which we see now is the internet. It's an overload. There's so much information for people. People's circuits are blowing because they haven't got any processing where, you know, there's not enough space for that information in our minds. So he actually decided to break the rules against, you know, the Sikh community and teach this technology out to the masses. So he went to America in 1969 and he decided that that was the place he was going to start, because they were all hippies and they were wanting the enlightenment, and so he basically took it to that America, and then after that it's just blossoming now, and we see it a lot more now in England, London, you see it's flowering.
So Kundalini basically started in America and
it
flowered out from there on.
It flowered out from there on, and the great thing about Yogi Bhajan is he said his motto, as it were, when he first started teaching was, I have come to America to make teachers, not students. And that was his focus, is to make everybody that he touched a potential teacher of this technology, which I love, because that makes people on the same page. There's not this guru-student relationship. It's like, I've got this technology, I'm going to share it with you, and you're going to go out and teach this, because this is all fixed in stone. Just follow this rule book, and it's all there for you. Stick to the rules, and you'll get the transformation. And that's why there's so much shall we say, rules and regulations that sometimes are misunderstood within Kundalini Yoga, because the rules and regulations, as it were, are there because they're keeping the purity of the teachings sacred. Because once you start messing too much with the sacred kriyas and the sequencing, then you're changing the effect it has on the physical body and the psyche. So it affects you on a spiritual level, but obviously a physical level, because the energetic, the physical side of it is quite demanding, but not as well. Like some people that are, any shape or size can do Kundalini Yoga, and that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be super fit or super flexy. You just have to be alive. You can even do it in a chair, and the teacher will always accommodate for you.
Yes.
And it's movement, meditation, and mantra. So you've got the 3 aspects, and pranayama, 4 aspects really, with the breath work, all combining together to make this wonderful technology, which is very alchemical. So each time you come to class, it's a unique, the ingredients are different each time, so it's a unique formula. So the teacher can decide, today I'm going to teach you this kriya, which is for the lungs, or next day I'm going to teach you this for the liver, or now I'm going to teach you something for depression. So basically whatever your ailment is, whatever's broken, whether it's physical or psychological, you can do a kriya, a practice, to fix it, which is so great for this day and age, because we've all got so many different problems and issues. It's like not one size fits all, So as a teacher, we can almost diagnostically tell where your strengths and weaknesses are and how you perform in a class. And then and you yourself can decide, that was really challenging for me, that particular practice. So then you tell your teacher, I really hated that, and then the teacher would say, that's because you really need it. Yeah. And then they give you the homework and off you go. Then you go off and do it for 40 days, every day for 40 days, and that's what develops your personal practice, and that's how the real transformation occurs. So you can have your little mini transformations in class. There's always tears, and someone's always, there's always a release that goes on, and that terrifies some people because their soul is kissed, and they're like, ooh, because even just sitting with their eyes closed in a lotus position, for some people that's intense. They've not even done that before, so you're always having extreme.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that can sometimes be the hardest yoga, is to tell someone to sit down and close their eyes and actually go inside, because they're not used to sitting with their soul. They're used to looking everywhere, and of course when the physical eyes are open, the third eye can't open. You have to close your physical eyes in order for the third eye to open. So it's quite, you find that this on its own can be as challenging as standing on your shoulders or standing on your head, or one of the most tricky asanas. So it's not really about the detail in the sense of alignment and everything in Kundalini. It's much more about the chakras and the universal energy and God. We talk about God a lot in Kundalini Yoga, and that can be quite intimidating for some people as well, because people have got issues around that word. And it's obviously it's aligned to a lineage. It's aligned to the Sikh religion, if you like. So that can be a little intimidating as well. You don't have to be a Sikh to teach it. I'm not a Sikh, but I practice Sikh Dharma, because I believe that is actually a really, really, sweet and soulful path. Khalsa means purity, light. So, as a teacher of it, I stick to the rules because they're there for a really good reason, and they get the results.
And results certainly are what you do things like yoga for.
Absolutely.
So that if you didn't have something positive coming out of it, I would say fairly quickly, you're going to lose the impetus to do more.
Exactly. And that is what I love about Kundalini Yoga, because you can never do the same class twice. Each time you come to class it's different, and we're such creatures of we want that eclectic mix. Our minds just crave it, don't they? So if you don't know what you're getting every time you come to class, you're like, I'm going to miss that box of chocolate. I don't know what they're going to teach today. What's going to teach? So I have to go, or I'm going to miss out on the really good stuff.
Or the one class I missed was the one that I really wanted to go to.
Exactly, and that's the irony. The amount of people that come up to me after class and they go, how did you know that class was so for me today? I'm like, exactly, because if the teacher's doing the job properly, they're tuning in, they're connecting to the golden chain, and then they're going to deliver exactly what's needed at that time. And the 40 people in the class all needed that kriya, because that was the one that the teacher channeled through to teach. So it's amazing. It's a really beautiful space to be in, to observe people going through that process.
You teach Kundalini Yoga in 2 places in London, don't you? One in Camden.
I teach in Tri-Yoga Camden on a Sunday, 3:15 to 5:15, and I teach at Evolve Wellness also on a Sunday, 12:45 till 2, and then I do various workshops, some at Evolve, some at Tri-Yoga, And obviously when we do the ceremony space events together, I'll be doing some of the mantras, because I make mantra music with my producer Pete Ardren, and so the music and the mantras will be sharing at the ceremony space events, because that's the most accessible part of Kundalini Yoga really, is the mantras, because everyone can chant, everyone can chant, and
they should be able
to, and that's what I like to teach people, that you don't even have to understand what you're chanting in order for it to work. That's the beauty. I always make sure people understand, because I'm very, very into the details, so I'll always explain what we're chanting and why we're chanting it. But the beauty of mantra is it works anyway, and it's so accessible in that sense. And for me, I feel that is the golden nugget of this practice is the nod, which is the sacred sound current. In the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and that's really what the mantra, and the mantra thing is exploding now. I mean, we've got some heavyweights that have been doing it for us for a long time, like Deva, and there's lots of like Awesome and Krishna, that have been doing it for a while. But now it's starting to happen that there's much more coming up, and
it's much more accessible.
Much more accessible, and that's what I like to do with my music. Is it's not what you would call traditional mantra music. It's traditional in the sense of that it's very specific to the teachings, and I really work hard to make sure I'm delivering it correctly and as the Guru intended. But with the music, that's why I chose to work with Pete, because he brings in this wonderful musical landscape that is basically very epic and almost very, very me. But it's music that's modern music, so it's like a mixture of modern music and the classical mantra coming together like a fusion, ancient future I like to call it. So to actually get people on board with it, because people have got to want to listen to it, and the younger generation, I feel like that's the younger generation appreciate my music because maybe it's got that little dancey thing going on that they're familiar with. Then actually before they know it, they're chanting along with it, and magic's happening.
That's It's all about participation, and I know you're very big on that. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think it's we ought to know where we can contact you. Should viewers suddenly decide, I want to Kundalini with Kwali?
Yes, you can come and Kundalini with Kwali. You can contact me via my website, kwalikundalini.com, and obviously I teach in Camden and Evolve Wellness in South Kensington. And obviously the Serpent Healing, if there's any of you that are scared of snakes or you wish to break through any fears, then that's also a big part of my work as well. So you can either email me or you can just rock up to one of my events. Do try and book in advance because they get sold out very, very effortlessly, which is lovely.
You could have a bit of a following.
Yeah, they're very loyal, my students. They're very, very loyal, and I'm very loyal to them, and we have great time. Our spaceship takes off every Sunday and we have a wonderful time with it.
Fantastic. Lovely to talk with you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me. We'll see you really soon.